Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. It seems like almost every single day now, we're gaining bits and pieces of intel on the return of Verdansk. Obviously, it's officially March now, time is flying by, and that means later this month, we should be seeing Verdansk playable in Warzone yet again. And obviously, over the past few days, I've posted several videos breaking down some of the initial leaks and rumors in regards to the Verdansk update, some of the gameplay elements, like the return of floating loot, the red doors, what to expect in terms of gameplay here and there. We also, though, just got even more details on the launch update for Verdansk. It seems some initial teasers and when we could expect some more marketing and reveals to happen on top of the first initial POI updates as well. So lots to break down here today. First up, I do want to address this initial countdown timer that some of you may have already seen in your emails talking about Verdansk, because there's been a lot of talk about this already, what this might mean. So Charlie Intel ends up reporting on this, saying the Call of Duty shop, like the actual physical store where you can purchase, clothes and t-shirts and all sorts of stuff themed around Call of Duty, is launching a Verdansk collection on March 10th, the 5-year anniversary of Warzone's launch. The current rumor is Verdansk returns on March 20th with Season 3. So you may have seen it in your emails, or if you visit the Call of Duty store website, this countdown is now live that comes to a close on March 10th, that anniversary date for the launch of Warzone. You may recall back when Warzone 1 first launched, on the actual menu for Modern Warfare 2019, we got the classified tab that had the countdown timer as well. So obviously they're playing on a bit of nostalgia there, but I did see a lot of talk of, oh, Zach, I got an email saying the Verdansk return happens. We can drop back in 10 days or something. This particular teaser is just for the store itself, for actual Verdansk themed merch, it seems. However, it does seem like they're going to do some other updates similar to this with the official launch of Verdansk in-game. So a new leak from Reality UK, we obviously just had the 1.70 title update a few days back that was just simply the stability update, wasn't anything crazy, but they did add in a few more files, and we've talked about some of the leaks that surfaced from that already, but a new one that Reality talks about here says, nothing special, but they did add a playlist countdown, which I'm hoping is a countdown for Verdansk like they did originally. Very insignificant, all things considered. I mean, it's just literally a countdown timer, but apparently we will have some kind of countdown in game that could be counting down to the launch of Verdansk alongside Season 3. So obviously that was a big deal back in the day, like I just mentioned with Modern Warfare 2019. Random update day, we ended up seeing that classified sector added to the main menu, then it had that countdown timer for the official launch of Verdansk. It hit 0 and Warzone was revealed and released to the world, and obviously the rest is history. So we might be sort of reliving that with our own official countdown timer in game now. Obviously, if we see more updates regarding this or anything else official come out for Verdansk in the Season 3 update, you guys know on a daily basis I got you covered with the latest news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns, anything for COD and everything for COD is right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button if you want to stay in the loop. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, you're excited for the return of Verdansk, be sure to drop a like as well. Much love to everyone who does take the time to do so. It really does help out the channel. Now, next up here, as I mentioned, we also ended up seeing some new leaks for the first initial POI list for Verdansk. Now, of course, we've heard recently it's going to be a modified OG version of Verdansk. So when Warzone first dropped, it'll be that version. However, there will be slight tweaks here and there. For instance, the stadium roof not going to be open, but the inside of the stadium will be. The inside of train station going to be closed, at least for now. It seems like the train will be there, but there will be no fast travel system. So different hybrid systems that we had on Verdansk will be there, others won't. But Charlie Intel and Alex, another data miner and leaker, ended up posting this saying, here's a potential list of some of the names for different POIs in Verdansk when it returns. And what we see are obviously some familiar ones here, but then also some ones that you might not realize are super specific. So I want to actually look at the map real quick and highlight a few of these, but we have a couple of the blocks, things like Boneyard, obviously various bridges, the farmland tunnels, all sorts of stuff like that. So a few of these are going to be more recognizable. A few of them though are kind of question marks based off of their official names here. So made this little side by side here just to point out some of the initial locations here. Obviously we've got our Verdansk map. The names are on here. They're really tiny with the version I have saved, but nonetheless we have some of these obviously names. But just going through the initial things with blocks here, I believe it's just referencing straight up the apartments here that are just south of Superstore, obviously. So we have all these apartments lined up in these various buildings here. At least based on original Verdansk gameplay, it seemed like that was always referenced as some of the blocks. There are a few others like those throughout the map as well, of course, though. So we've got those listed off there. Boneyard obviously is a very self-explanatory one. It's listed over here, so we've got that coming back as well. Not sure why there's two different boneyards listed, but Boneyard and then Zokov Boneyard for whatever reason. The bridges are obviously all kind of their own deal, right? Like we've got a bunch of these different bridges ranging from here in downtown. We've got a couple of these. We obviously have some further up here as well. So various different bridges. We've also got them over on the right side of the map as well. I think this one over here is actually the Gora Bridge officially, because there's a couple of smaller POIs on that right side. But nonetheless, that's a couple of the bridges. The specific names on them, obviously, you know, we don't have listed on the official map just because they're super small POIs. I am particularly interested in the fact that there is one called Coast. I assume this means somewhere down across the water here. Something that's interesting to think about here, obviously, with the return of Verdansk, is that it's going to be played on the current engine, which means there will be water mechanics, presumably. Now, of course, the mainland of Verdansk doesn't actually have that much water unless they were to unfreeze the dam, and we might have a river flowing through here or something, right? But this down here, previously, if you touched any of this water, like there's some small areas in like the dam here where there was some water where you could cross over. If you touched that water, it was an instantaneous death. So I'm really curious to see if there is any water play, since swimming mechanics is an official thing here. Could be interesting to see what's going on there and why we have a POI named Coast. Obviously, farmland, pretty self-explanatory. We've got that going on over here, so we know all about that at this point, right? Gora Tunnel and Gora Village are presumably going to be up here, up towards the dam. We do have obviously the tunnel that takes place right up over here. Then the village POI, I believe, is just over in this area here. We had that as like sort of a ground war map as well. It's interesting that some of these names are so official, then other ones not as much. Like for instance, Prison, we know that that's going to be there. Grozna Hills, we know that that's going to be the POI down here as well. That was actually the first original POI I landed back in Warzone. Now, Yarvinsk Spomenik, not fully sure what that's going to be. I think that might just be one of the areas where we have various different like rockets set up and like different SAM turrets, but I'm not fully sure on that one, honestly. Hey, if you know that one, drop me a comment down below. Lazov Pass is actually going to be this apartment building up here, right over by the military base and everything going on there. So that one, I don't know why it has such a weird name that's not listed on the map, but nonetheless, we know all about that. Obviously, we know about Storage Town. The memorials, I'm going to assume, are these various different statues that are on like the southern kind of the map here, where we have those just outside of the hill. There's various of those throughout the map, though. There's also some that are up over in the hills as well by Lazov Pass. So I assume that's just some of those. Then obviously Superstore being a main one. What's interesting though is that we don't obviously have every single POI listed here. You know, stadium, downtown, obvious ones like airport, dam, military base, quarry. So not sure why some of these are listed here and others aren't, but nonetheless, we obviously know this is very much so going to be a classic version of Verdansk based off of these initial POI leaks as well. Then one last leak that has surfaced is the fact that it seems like daily login rewards should be returning here in season 3 based around Warzone. So every single day you log in consecutively, you end up getting a new reward essentially. So it's probably going to be small stuff, filler emblems and calling cards and some double XP, but nonetheless, it's free stuff, which is never a bad thing, right? If you're trying to stack some tokens or get some free content, just simply log in and it'll give it to you. You don't have to do anything. You just open up the menu, bada bang, bada boom, you're good to go there. So some interesting new leaks for season 3 and the Verdansk launch update here. Obviously, as we get closer and closer to that season 3 launch date, we're going to see more official reveals and announcements. I have to imagine around March 10th when that Verdansk collection drops, we're going to start to see some official marketing as well. So stay tuned. Obviously, you guys know every single day I'll have you in the know for everything you need to know about Call of Duty. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.